We're swatching.
We are swatching.
And I look like it's really cold in here because it is.
Yeah, it's so today was a backwards weather day. You know, it's usually cold and then it warms up and then it gets cold again.
Yeah.
It was like 51 this morning and rainy. And then so like really all the snow's gone. Even like where people walked and it turned to ice, like that's all gone. Everything's gone. But then there's like a big storm hitting down on the coast. And so we're getting some of the wind from that. And it's like blowing all the warm air away, basically. So by the end of today, it's going to be 20.
We're supposed to have negative something this coming week.
That's just obscene.
Well, by the time this airs, that won't be true. But I will tell you, so yesterday I went through the canyon to get my daughter from college because she's home for the weekend. And one of the scariest things that ever happened on the highway. So we have, this light, fluffy snow and it got windy. So we have a ground blizzard and it's hard to see, right? Really hard to see. So I'm literally going like 30 miles an hour with the hazard lights on, crossing my fingers somebody doesn't come up behind me, right? And just I can only see from like delineator post to delineator post. And it's icy. And then I feel the wind blow the car on the ice. Oh, wow. And I'm like, what do you do about that?
Yeah, you can't fight that.
I was only going seriously like 30 and I'm just praying no one rear ends me.
Yeah.
And
how busy was the road?
Oh, not
too bad.
So there was no one behind me. And then we drove out of that after a few miles, but I've never had that happen where the wind just the car on the ice. That was scary. And I wasn't going fast, but it's a canyon. There was like a drop off and I'm like, oh. Yeah. But we made it home safely and I'm thankful for that. And good. Wearing a hat again today because let's just talk about real life and bad decisions. It is real life. See this mess right here? Okay, I'm not taking off my hat because I feel like a Q-tip.
But it's not as bad as you think it is. It's just not what you wanted it to be.
Right. Okay. So I got a perm and should not have. It was a poor decision. And so now I'm debating what to do.
And we should say by the time this goes live, it will be resolved.
One way or the other.
It will be resolved. So as people are watching and are like, I have a solution, like there will be a solution that will have been applied before this goes live.
Probably.
But I would like to hear people's stories actually. I was telling you before that my mother made me get perms for like 3-4 years growing up.
Yeah.
Because it was the 80s and big hair was the look, right? And I have very fine hair.
Me too.
That I have to this is the amount of volume I can force into my hair with products and blow drying. But normally it's just flat. It's just flat and fine.
Normally mine's flat too.
Yeah. And so imagine, if you will, like late 80s being named Anne and so my hair color would also get bleached by the perm process. So it would be more sort of auburny and very, very curly. And my name was Anne. So I was Little Orphan Annie for like all of upper elementary into middle school, and finally got to high school and was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Right. And then my hair started growing back in straight and this color. And so I had like really, really dark roots that were straight. And then and that took nearly a year to grow out like that. Yeah. Luckily I went to an all girls high school at that point, so I didn't really care.
Right. But and I was saying to you before we started recording that at least like nobody made me do this. It wasn't my mother. Like it's my own fault, right? So
yeah.
And my husband's not helpful. He's like, Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that idea. I'm like, shut up. Don't even give me the I told you so. Go away. Just go away. I don't need to hear it.
Yeah,
And
that's
he's like,
not what you
no, I
want to
didn't mean it like that. I'm like, oh, I think you did.
hear. Well, I heard it like that, and
And
you
I'm
should have
crabby about it. So just don't dig it any deeper.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, one way or another, either I will, become the gray 50-year-old version of Sinead O'Connor, or, or I don't know, or I'll wear hats for another
Well, we
4
talked
months.
about, you can go back and have it relaxed. You can,
Wha-
there's your hairdresser will be able to talk to you about a few different things. She
I
might be able to walk you through the whole like round brush hair dryer.
Well, I
process.
tried that and it looked like sort of straw.
Okay, she can help. There's processes. There's things.
Yeah, there's
So,
also a number 3 guard and a razor that goes. I have one of those. I mean, I could solve this in about 5 minutes.
right. We'll see. We'll see what happens in the next video. What it's looking like. This will be our saga. And when we did the Advent thing, it was my daily knitting. And would I make it to the end or not? The constant yarn chicken, right? Now we're gonna see. We're
How
gonna
many
have
hats I can knit really fast. Or whether you just, how many hats do I have? And how long will this take to grow out? Yours? Yeah. So I could parlay this into some entertainment value, which is the bright side, I guess, because
the bright side.
The cotton swab analogy is not far off.
I don't think, I know it's different when it's your own head. I don't think it is as crazy as you think.
Oh my word.
But I also understand that feeling of not feeling confident with what's going on.
And it's windy in Wyoming. So, I mean, today, gusts over 65.
Yeah.
So you cannot walk outside without it going.
Right.
Okay. So do you remember? Here's what occurred to me this morning. Do you remember the vintage pictures of Larry, Curly, and Moe? Like I could part it in the middle and be that.
There you go. You could do that.
No, thank you. That's kind of how bad it is. Just saying.
It's still very fresh too. So it's a very fresh perm.
What the hell was I thinking?
I don't know.
I don't either.
The goal, I will say that your goal picture was very nice.
In this, yeah, but I've fell short of that by quite a long ways.
I mean, yeah, okay.
Okay, let's move on. Okay.
I think we need to move on.
So I have some great Fair Isle hats that people will get to see, right? And I'll just get that out of my way. And yeah, so this is the Crofter's Cap. I made this in the neutral pattern last year and I love it. And I have about 3 more of these in different colors.
And we're not far from finding out what this year's one is going to be.
Ooh.
This year's Shetland Wool Week hat.
Right. And I have a couple of sock head hats. Oh, here's another one. See?
Very nice.
Yeah.
I like
so
it.
I might just, get into my hat collection.
Yeah.
And that'll be okay.
Take care of itself.
Yeah. All right. But we're swatching.
We are swatching today. Yes, I have my swatch here ready to go. We actually swatch 2 different ways.
Oh, yes.
So we think it's, it is important. You're going to want to swatch for this project, which is like most other projects you want to swatch for. So Jana's going to talk about how she did her swatching. I'm going to talk about how I did my swatching.
Right.
You might have another way you want to do your swatching.
Tell us
about
about
swatching though. It is a good thing to be doing before any project.
So yeah, because Anne is using traditional Shetland wool and that behaves differently than superwash merino sock yarn, which is what I'm using. So yeah, so show us what you got. And then of course, it's important to see how the colors are going to behave before you go casting on 255 plus stitches.
Yeah. And then you knit in one color for
like inches.
basically, you
Yeah.
know, and then, so if you get into those stripes and those stripes aren't working for you, that's a lot of work.
Wah, wah.
Yeah.
So
So do you want
swatching
me
is
to go
important.
first? You
Yeah.
want me to go first then? Okay, I'll
Yeah,
go
you
first
go
because
ahead.
I'm using the traditional yarn. This isn't what the pattern was knit with, but it's the same type of yarn. It's the same breed. It's Shetland
Same
wool.
breed of sheep.
Right. So my goal in swatching really was about the colors. And I've already posted on Instagram what I thought I was going to use. And the swatching process actually got me to change my mind. So these are different colors you're going to see. So initially, this was, I'm trying because it's all one swatch. This was my swatch, right?
Right.
So
And
I have,
yeah, the main color was that bluish.
it's sort of denim-y blue. I figured really like, what are our neutrals these days, right? Black, white, gray, and really like denim blue has become a neutral,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so I figured the denim-y blue, and then I have 2 shades of pink and a purple. And I loved them in the ball.
Yeah.
And I knit the stripes and I thought that's great,
I like it.
but I don't love it.
Mhm.
And so I went
love
stash
it.
diving. I just didn't love it. So I
You should
went
love it.
stash diving again.
Mhm.
And now, Jana, I have always been very safe with my color choices.
And that was kind of a motherly tone, I will say. Now, Jana, that was kind of like I had a little flashback there.
So I've always been very cautious and careful with my color choices. I tend to pick like one safe color that I know looks good on me, like a red, a blue, a burnt red. Like I know I do good in those colors, right? Or I stick with like black, white, gray, like the neutrals I mentioned before, right? Then I started knitting Stephen West patterns. And he plays so much with color that and
he's
so
happy.
Yeah, they're happy, joyful colors, right? And also I've been knitting more and more Fair Isle over the last 4 years, which has also sort of broken me into exploring more colors. So I had my swatch that was this, right? That here. And then I went digging and I thought, you know what? Orange might be nice as my main color. And then I went here.
Wow. That was like a magic show just then.
I know. Out of my so this was my second attempt. And you can see I just kept going on my swatch because this is just playing with color.
Yeah.
So I have orange for the main. I have it on the wrong side, sorry. So orange for the main, and then sorry.
Okay.
And then this is the color that these shades are all over dyed on.
Okay.
So that's the natural that those are over dyed on. And then I have blue, green, and yellow, and then that natural color again.
Okay.
And
the green is very subtle.
Yeah, because that green, that is just 2 rows. The blue and the yellow are 4 rows, and that stripe is just the 2.
Right.
So it's just a little bit of green to transition it from the blue to the yellow. And so this is just basic color wheel. Started with orange, went across the color wheel to blue, and then blue, green, yellow, you know? And that's how I found the colors that I had. So I had enough of the orange for the main color. So I saw that and I thought, I have a navy blue, what are they called? Like, not like the navy, not a pea coat, but almost like a pea coat.
Okay, but it's a wool coat.
But a navy blue wool coat with a collar, whatever. And then I just thought with this like orange cowl with blues and greens and yellow, I thought would be a nice pop against that. So this is what I'm going to be doing.
So you're channeling your Stephen West.
I'm channeling my Stephen West. I'm pulling out these.
And he would go
colors from Uradale Farm.
Doesn't he always like? Yeah.
Yeah, he's always like. So this is what I'm doing for mine. And of course, the orange will be much wider.
Right.
So it'll be a bigger percentage of this.
Right.
I really was just playing with colors, so I wanted just to see how it all interacted with one another.
And you're also seeing if the resulting fabric with the needle that you chose is what you like.
Right. And that also, that's like good. I'm good with that. Got nice drape to it. You know what? And I like how you said that, because I didn't even bother to measure this one. Because one of the things with Shetland wool is that if I'm a little smaller or if I have more stitches than I need, it blocks open really easily.
Right.
And I'm going to want to block it open anyway. And so anyway, I'm not as concerned with.
And I was, and we'll get to that in a minute, but yeah.
Right. Because Shetland wool tends to be a strong wool. Once I have it blocked how I want it to be, it's going to stay that way till it's wet again. So
yeah,
I'm happy with this fabric. Look at that. There it is, all spread out.
Yeah. So you didn't even block your swatch yet.
I didn't even block my swatch yet. I really was going for color and drape.
Okay.
Tell me about yours.
Well, I did a couple different things. I have blocked my swatch. So my colors actually will be like this. Yeah. Okay. So I have my speckly-ish sock yarn, and then I have, so if you look at the pattern, this contrast right here would be what is white on your swatch, or what is the lighter white on the pattern. And so that's that. And then mine's kind of reversed as far as, darker to lighter. It's a little reversed from what yours is. So then I'm using up some of my minis. And so some of the sections, like where you have your yellow, that's 4 rows, I'm using some minis. So I just knitted 2 rows of each mini. See, like
right
here.
So you have more of a fade effect going on.
Right. These are just where I wove in ends. That's kind of yucky. But yeah, you can see. Yeah, so I've just got 2 rows of each color because I'm using up some minis. So that's an option if people want to do that. And I will take this out if I need to, but I think I'll be fine. But let me tell you this.
Have that swatch worth of yarn. Yeah.
I did block it because I wanted to see how this would behave. When I did it the first time, this is the second one I've made. When I did it the first time, I did knit it on the 5mm needles, or US size 8, with my Superwash Merino 80/20 sock yarn. I did not care for the fabric. It just felt really loose, and like, I didn't like it. It was just too loose and like wholly airy. And
because Merino, Merino doesn't have as much crimp to it, and the fibers are finer than the yarn that the pattern calls for. So the fabric is going to be more floppy as a result.
So there was value in knowing that, because then I went and I sized down with my needles. Now, knowing that I was going to get 6 stitches per inch rather than 4 stitches per inch, I will have to adjust my number of cast on stitches so that so I'm going to cast on seriously like 25 to 30% more, because I still want the same finished dimensions.
Yes.
So if you're doing what I'm doing, or you're using, different yarn, and you want to change your needle size and whatever, that's fine. Just do the math. And then consequently, if I'm casting on 25 to 30% more stitches in a multiple of 17, because that's what the chart is, I also need to make sure I have 25 or 30% more yarn.
Right.
So don't do that and then think you're golden and then be like, uh-oh, and you don't have enough yarn. But I think I will recalculate. I will double check my calculations, is what I'm saying, and make sure, so that before I actually cast on, I'll make sure that I have enough of everything. But I like the colors.
It's very pretty. I really like the fade that you got with those minis. Yeah. And again, so that's on the color through those stripes is 4, 2, 4, and then 2 rows of the middle. And so Jana's just doing 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 for the middle. It's just 2 every color instead of 4.
Because of my minis. Right. And I was able to, I worked that out, and I did swap around some color combinations. And that's the value of swatching, to make sure that you understand the needles that you want. Yeah. And I've done a big enough swatch here that I've can get a good average of my stitches per inch, and then do the math, and then compare that with the yardage that I have, all that. So.
Right. Yeah. So, and that's something like with this one, if I hadn't liked this and been like, yes, that is what I'm going for. And I say this knowing This might not appeal to some of the people watching. That's totally fine. This appeals to me.
Yeah.
Someone else might be like, that's more pretty. Do that. No, that is pretty, but this is what I want to do. Right. Yeah. But if it hadn't struck home, I would have just kept going, trying different color combinations and
to
gone
find
back
what you wanted. Right.
And one of the things I wanted to say too is that, like, with this first test up here, if I was feeling sort of iffy about it, what I could have done was get out a mirror and lay this down flat, or, you know, at a bit of an angle to get the reflection of both sides, to test how the full effect of the fade in, fade out, without having to actually knit that whole
knit
thing.
It all. Right. And see, I did the fade in.
And that is a legitimate thing that some people living in Shetland do to test their thing. Like, that's an actual technique. That's not me. I didn't come up with that. That is something people have been doing. So don't feel like you have to do both sides as you're testing. Just get out a little mirror and let it reflect back on you.
The only reason I encourage people to knit a large enough swatch is so they can get the accurate stitches per inch, block it, make sure it's, but the thing is you're cutting a little corners, but you also know that you've worked with that wool a lot.
Yeah.
You understand how it's going to behave, and you know what I mean? But I would say if you're a beginner knitter, go ahead and do a bigger.
Do the big one.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not using the yarn the pattern calls for.
Yes, which I'm not. So I did knit a bigger, and this is seriously, let's see. So my handy dandy measure thing is 6 inches. Yeah, this is a good 6-inch swatch after it's blocked.
Yeah.
But I did that because I wanted to see.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, if I get in a pickle with my yarn, I need to take it out, I will. But yeah, I think I'll be fine.
That's why we hold on to our swatches. Don't just chuck it or throw it in a whatever.
Yeah, don't chuck it. And the other thing that Wilma does, Wilma Malcolmson, I learned this from her, I think. Yeah. She'll take her swatches and like put interfacing on the back and then put them on the wall on like a bulletin board. And I'm like, and then with a little note or something saying what it was and what project. I'm like, how wonderful.
She has all her swatches on this one, wall in her studio, and she'll like point it out. Yeah, I designed that for this project for this one lady, and like tell you about it, and then she'll grab another and be like, and I did this one. And it's all her swatches. They're all there to see. It's really neat to see.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And then she gets to go back down memory lane and see it all.
Right.
Some people have binders, and they put this in a sheet protector, and that's fine too. I want to just, do my wall.
Yeah. Why use wallpaper when you can line it with swatches, right?
Definitely. So next time we're actually going to show our cast on and talk about, tune in next time so you can hear what we're going to watch for Netflix knitting, TV knitting, while you're doing your big garter stitch section.
Yeah, because this is a lot of TV knitting at the beginning. So we're going to have some tips, help pass the time.
We'll have a watch list for you.
Yeah. So let's use a hashtag, right? As we're doing this, if you're posting on Instagram, or, you can post it in the Purl Together, or I Thought I Knew How Facebook group. There's the Ravelry group, your Ravelry group has a thread now, the Purl Together Ravelry group.
Yep.
If you're on Instagram, at Hap Cowl KAL, does that work?
Yeah. Okay. Hashtag Hap Cowl KAL.
KAL. We'll do that for our thing, because I want to see all swatches.
Yeah, I want to see the swatches, and
I'm excited to see people's colors and what they're deciding to use for color.
Yeah, so show us a photo of your yarn and your swatch, and we are going to have some like little prizes and participation things.
Yes.
And we're going to have some legit knit along prize stuff going on, which we'll sort that out. But that'll happen over on the Ravelry thread in the Purl Together Ravelry group, is where the giveaways and that kind of thing are happening. So
so look there for information.
Okay, so we'll see you next time. We'll talk about our Netflix choices.
Nice.
Bye.